Let's be real. Most people stay stuck at work because they're comfortable with being average. They'll talk about waiting for the right time, but that time never actually comes. And here's the truth. Ambition sees opportunity where complacency sees risk. And that's the difference between people who climb up the ladder, get that corner office, get their own parking spot, compared to the people who stay stuck, planted, same position for 20 years, never moving. And here's where it gets real tricky, because people think that they're being smart by playing it safe. They don't ask for that raise, they don't volunteer for new projects, they don't speak up in meetings, they don't raise their hand ever. They basically never do anything outside of their little box. And then they convince themselves that they're being strategic. It doesn't make any sense to me. But let's be honest. That's not a strategy. That's hesitation dressed up as logic. I've heard people say, well, I'll just wait till next quarter. And then next quarter becomes next year. And then next year becomes never. And what they call safe, I call stuck. And let's just call it what it is. It's fear. And fear is the #1 career killer. Playing small doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you invisible. And whether you want to hear this or not, invisible people don't get promoted. They get forgotten. It's true. I've seen countless people who had brilliant ideas, smart people, talented, capable people, stay in the shadows. And then I would hear them complain about how leadership never sees their value. And honestly, how can they? How could they? If they never spoke up or stepped up or raised their hand or tried new opportunities within the company. I've made a lot of videos about visibility. It's incredibly important for your career. Because here's the truth. If you don't raise your hand and improve your visibility within the company, nobody's going to come and walk you into the spotlight. It just doesn't work that way. It never will. It never has. It just doesn't. In a room full of silent employees, courage sounds like leadership. Now, psychologists call this the status quo bias. We are wired to prefer what's familiar, even if it holds us back. Your brain whispers to you, stay safe, don't risk it, stay comfortable. But that comfort, it's a cage. It's a self-made cage. And here's the kicker. The longer you sit in that cage, the smaller it gets. Then you start getting labeled at work. Reliable, steady, low maintenance. And to some people, these might sound like compliments, but to me, it sounds like you're replaceable. And then one day, you're going to realize that everybody that took a risk passed you by. And you're not trapped by the company, you're trapped by your own comfort. You have now built your own ceiling. Let me give you an example. 2 employees start at the same company at the same day. They have the same degree, same skill set, same potential. Employee A plays it safe. He does his work, he works hard, keeps his head down, never does anything more than that, stays inside of his box. Employee B does all the same things, but raises his hand for new opportunities, speaks up in meetings, takes ownership, and shows courage. Fast forward 5 years. Employee A is still waiting for recognition, probably in the same position. Employee B became that recognition and is probably leading their own team. It's not because they were smarter, it's because they showed ambition. Quick pause. If you're the kind of person who refuses to be stuck, hit subscribe right now, because on this channel, Power Moves at Work, we don't sugarcoat it. We talk about moves that actually get you promoted and respected at work. Now, back to ambition. Ambition isn't recklessness, it's intelligent risk. Ambitious people raise their hand. Ambitious people push their limits. Ambitious people build new skills. And overall, ambitious people understand that mistakes are just tuition that you pay for growth. Complacent people, they confuse consistency with progress. They think loyalty is going to get them that promotion, and it just doesn't. It won't. Now, don't get me wrong, loyalty is appreciated, always, but progress is rewarded. Complacency and progress don't live in the same house. Hell, they don't even live on the same street, let alone the same neighborhood. They just don't. They don't. As a director myself, I can tell you that leaders notice patterns. When I see somebody that's always playing it safe, I don't see leadership material. I just don't. I see predictability. I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's true. But when I see somebody who takes risks, raises their hand, takes ownership, shows courage, speaks up in meetings, shares ideas, that's the person that I think of when new opportunities come up. Leaders don't promote silence, they promote impact. Listen, if you're fine with clocking in, clocking out, and collecting a paycheck, that's fine. You do you. That's great. This is probably not the channel for you, but I respect your decision. But don't complain about being overlooked when you've never stepped up. You can't live in complacency and expect ambitious rewards. And also, comfort, that's where growth goes to die. That's just my opinion. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. So ask yourself, are you ambitious or are you just comfortable? One path leads to growth, influence, and promotions, and the other path leads nowhere. Hell, it leads exactly where you're already at. No growth. If you're ready to choose ambition, hit subscribe right now. And check out the free Office Influence Toolkit in the description below. Or upgrade to the Power Moves Career Toolkit if you're really ready to step up. And drop a comment. What's one risk that you're finally going to take this year? I really want to know.